Here's the script in English without timeline numbers. Thailand. The land of smiles hides more than it shows behind golden temples and street food. There lies a world of contradictions. Wealth next to poverty, traditions clashing with change. What lies behind the smiles? To understand Thailand, one must look deeper into its beauty and its shadows. Sex, power and survival. The dark side of tourism. The sex industry in Thailand is not a hidden underground secret. It is woven into the tourism machine. Marketed as bold entertainment, it has thrived through decades of cultural tolerance, economic necessity and legal ambiguity. Areas like Soy Cowboy, Patpong and Nana Plaza are world famous. Here, bars line narrow alleys, neon signs flash with suggestive names, and the line between adult entertainment and outright exploitation is thin and dangerous. Though technically illegal, prostitution is widely tolerated and often indirectly facilitated by those in power. But behind the bright lights are human stories, many filled with pain. Thousands of women, transgender people, and even young men enter this industry every year. Some seek opportunities, but many flee poverty, violence, or broken families. They are promised safe jobs or forced by circumstance, only to find themselves trapped in an industry where consent is unclear, financial traps are common, and escape routes are rare. Foreign demand fuels the sex tourism industry, a multi-billion-dollar market that has grown since the Vietnam War when Thailand became a rest and recreation zone for US soldiers. Over time, the system became more professionalized, turning performers into commodities and blurring ethical lines. Some workers find empowerment and independence, but many do not. For them, every trained smile hides a burden, every night is endured, and every morning brings the same reality: survival. Stolen childhoods. The hidden victims of a modern society. Among the darkest shadows cast by Thailand's tourism boom is child trafficking. It begins quietly. A child disappears from a remote village in Ai San. A teenager from Cambodia is promised a waitress job in Bangkok. A young girl from Myanmar is offered money for her family in exchange for a better life. But what awaits them is not a future. It is a cage. Thailand is both a destination and transit point for human trafficking. Children are taken to work as laborers, domestic servants, and, most heartbreakingly, for sexual exploitation. Many are minors, lured by deception, sold by desperate relatives, or kidnapped by organized trafficking networks. The abuse is horrific. Victims are held against their will, controlled through threats, violence, and psychological manipulation. Their identities are erased, their bodies turned into commodities. Worst of all, part of this system exists to satisfy international customers deliberately seeking underage victims. This is not a side effect, it is a market. The Thai authorities and NGOs have made efforts to combat this crisis through raids, rescues, and awareness campaigns. But corruption and demand remain powerful obstacles. For every child saved, many more disappear without a trace. This is not just a legal issue, it is a moral emergency. Sea slaves. The true cost of Thailand's seafood industry. Thailand is the world's third largest seafood exporter. Its shrimp, tuna, and squid fill supermarket shelves across Europe, America, and Asia. But the story behind these products is not one of sustainability. It is one of slavery. International investigations have exposed widespread forced labor on Thai fishing boats. Men from Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos are promised legitimate jobs, only to find themselves trapped at sea. Their passports are confiscated, their wages withheld, and their lives entirely controlled. Many are beaten, starved, and forced to work 12 to 18 hours a day. Some remain at sea for months, even years, without setting foot on land. Attempts to escape are met with violence, and some who resist are reportedly thrown overboard. These are not isolated incidents. The seafood industry's supply chain is vast and complex, benefiting middlemen, traders, and corrupt officials at every stage. Despite international pressure, law enforcement is weak and reform is slow. Meanwhile, seafood continues to reach our tables, sanitized, packaged, and labeled as fresh and sustainable. But the reality behind it is anything but. Power, censorship, and the monarchy. Thailand presents itself as a democracy with elections, a constitution, and a parliament. But political power here is deeply tied to an institution most outsiders barely understand: the monarchy. Officially, Thailand is a constitutional monarchy. In practice, the royal family holds enormous cultural, political, and economic influence. Criticizing the monarchy is not just taboo, it is a crime. Under Thailand's lèse majesté laws, any perceived insult to the king, queen, or heir can result in a prison sentence of up to 15 years. The law is deliberately vague, allowing for broad interpretation. An innocent social media post, a classroom discussion, or an offhand remark can lead to prosecution. This legal framework has created a climate of self-censorship. Journalists avoid the topic, academics remain silent, and activists face harassment, exile, or worse. In recent years, brave student protests have called for reform. The government's response has been swift: arrests, lawsuits, and digital surveillance. In Thailand, freedom of expression is not just restricted, it is conditional, and those conditions are constantly shifting. Wildlife for sale, entertainment built on suffering, Thailand's tourism industry often markets itself as a gateway to the exotic. Nothing symbolizes this more than wildlife attractions: elephant rides in the jungle, selfies with tigers, and monkey performances. But what happens in front of the camera is a show built on cruelty. Elephants endure a brutal process called fajan, or breaking the spirit. Baby elephants are separated from their mothers, confined in tiny cages, beaten with hooks, and deprived of food and water until their will is broken. Only then are they trained to carry tourists or perform tricks. Big cats, like tigers, are often drugged to stay calm for photos, chained, or confined to small enclosures, living their lives as mere props. Monkeys, highly intelligent and social creatures, are trained through pain, whipped, restrained, and forced to mimic human behavior for entertainment. Even crocodiles are exploited, kept in concrete pits, and made to perform dangerous tricks for crowds. These attractions generate millions of dollars annually and are a lucrative part of Thailand's tourism sector. While ethical sanctuaries exist, they remain a minority compared to businesses that prioritize profit over compassion. Behind every photo opportunity is a living being stripped of its dignity, trapped in a cycle of exploitation, all for tourist amusement. The new Golden Triangle: drugs and the meth empire. In the misty hills of northern Thailand, near the borders of Laos and Myanmar, lies a region once infamous for its opium trade. This was the heart of the old Golden Triangle, a name synonymous with drugs and danger. But today a new empire has risen. Its product is no longer opium, it is methamphetamine. Cheap, potent, and devastating yaba, a small pill combining meth and caffeine, has become the drug of choice for millions. It is everywhere, from Bangkok's slums to remote villages. For workers, it keeps them awake for days. For youth, it is a dangerous thrill. For traffickers, it is a profitable trade. For families, it is a slow disaster. Households collapse, violence increases, and entire communities fall into chaos. Most production happens across the border in Myanmar, where lawlessness and militia control allow drug cartels to operate massive hidden laboratories. From there, traffickers exploit weak borders and corruption to flood the Thai market. The smuggling network is vast, armed, and ruthless. Even harsh punishments, ranging from decades in prison to execution, have not slowed its spread. This is no longer just a drug problem, it is a social crisis, a public health emergency, and a national security threat. In the quiet corners of the countryside, far from the headlines, this empire continues to grow, unseen but deadly. To truly understand Thailand, you must be willing to look beyond the surface, to move past the postcard images and enter the contradictions. It is a land where breathtaking temples rise above desperate slums, where ancient traditions coexist with modern injustices, where spiritual grace meets silent suffering. Thailand is beautiful and broken, healing and hurting, all at once. Its people endure more than they reveal, and its untold stories remain hidden, not because they are unimportant, but because they are uncomfortable. The most meaningful journeys do not offer escape, they demand awareness. Seeing Thailand only as a holiday destination means missing its essence. Seeing it as it truly is, with all its complexities, is the beginning of understanding. And perhaps that is the most respectful way to travel.